Mario Kart 64 is by far one of the best, if not the best, Mario Kart game of all time because of its new 3D graphics at the time and the ability to play with 4 players simultaneously, something that was virtually unheard of in 1997. Now, the game has aged very well, so let's take a look at all the different tracks in part 2 of our Mario Kart retrospective. We've partnered up with Happy Kids for this series, so download the app and watch for free. Welcome back, everyone. It's Abdallah here with even more Mario Kart retrospective. Welcome to part 2, where we're going to be talking about one of my favorite games, Mario Kart 64. This is my actual cartridge from when I was a kid, and you can see on the back over here, I've got some like little Nintendo 64 stickers on it. So yes, this is a relic, honestly. I'm so excited because this game brings me so much joy because I had a lot of fun times playing with the N64 controller, and this is what I did when I was in middle school. This was my hobby. Whenever I was done, doing all of my homework, I would play Mario Kart. I would play Mario 64, learn all the different shortcuts, find out all the different skips and barriers that you could jump over, invite 3 of my friends over so that we can play all on the same game. Because remember, the previous generation of Super Mario Kart only had 2 controllers and there weren't any 4-player games. But with this in 1997, this was phenomenal. So what we're going to do on this retrospective is really go through and show you one lap in each of the tracks, and we'll give you guys some really fun trivia along the way. So stick around to the very end, especially because we're going to show you guys some very fun shortcuts there. Yeah, I'm talking about the Rainbow Road shortcut, the most iconic shortcut in Mario Kart history. So, thanks so much for watching this. We've got tons more happening your way with this retrospective. It's a 10-part series, so don't miss a beat, okay? Alright, well, let's just jump on into it. And here we are, the character select screen for Mario Kart 64. As you can see, we've got the brothers on board. You've got Peach and Toad. You do have Yoshi. And over here, you're going to see that DK, Donkey Kong, is here. And Donkey Kong Jr. is nowhere to be seen other than a retro character in Mario Kart Tour way later on in the series. You'll also notice that Wario makes his debut as a racer over here. In the time between Super Mario Kart and Mario Kart 64, Wario had a couple games on different platforms. So anyway, that's kind of fun. And of course, you have Bowser over this way. As you take a look over here, we've got your middleweights, you've got your lightweights in Peach, Toad, and Yoshi, and then you've got your heavyweights in the form of DK, Wario, and Bowser. So pretty fun. We're going to go through with Mario and have a great time showcasing every single one of these levels within the game. Now, there's no unlock requirements for this. You can go through and have every single one of these levels. Unfortunately, there's only 16 levels in Mario Kart 64 versus the 20 in Super Mario Kart. But still, they're actually very, very awesome. And the jump from the 2D plane shifting to full-on 3D, oh my gosh, it was amazing. I still remember when I was in middle school playing this game for the very first time. It was so great. So anyway, let's jump into the Mushroom Cup and show you one lap in every single one of these levels, starting with Luigi Raceway. And here we are, the first track of the entire game. If you press the A button right before the blue light shows up, you'll get the rocket start as we showed right off over there. Now, the interesting thing about this game is that the mini turbos are done by holding the jump button into a turn. And you'll notice over here that when you do the jump button into a turn, you'll get some different smoke colors that come out. As you press left and right on the control stick, if you get that smoke to go from gray to yellow to orange, you'll get a small speed boost accordingly. So that's really how this game plays out and how it really makes you think about how you're going to get even more speed as you're playing through the level. And of course, mushrooms are a thing too. Our next level is going to be none other than Moo Moo Farms. Now, if you guys remember the Monty Moles from the previous Donut Plains, yeah, these guys are back, and they do a lot more damage to you. If you take a look right over here on this side, you'll be able to see them pop out and potentially knock you out from there. So just be very careful as you're racing through here. Of course, I wanted to showcase one of those just to see what happens when you do it. Anyway, you'll see a lot of the different cows on the side, a lot of different mounds and uneven terrain surfaces over here, and then of course our finish line right over this way. Easy. Alright, this is one of the most iconic levels in the game. It's Koopa Troopa Beach, and a lot of players enjoy this level simply because there is a very obvious shortcut in the level, and I can't wait to show it to you. You can do the shortcut without a mushroom. You can do it with a mini turbo if you're good enough, But the cool thing is that there's little ramps over here, there's little crabs, there's palm trees, there's water, there's a lot of fun stuff. So if you have a mushroom, you can launch yourself right this way and into this little shortcut area here, which is going to cut off a majority of the track there. So really excited for that. There's a couple different crabs over here, a couple ramps, and of course you can cross the finish line just by going through the water like that. The last level in the Mushroom Cup is none other than Kalimari Desert. Now this level is pretty awesome because there's a lot of off-road sections. You can use your mushrooms in order to cut off a vast portion of track. And of course there's the N64 train right over there. And if you touch the train, you're going to get blown up sky high, so be very careful about that. Sometimes in the different laps, the train will literally be in the way and you're going to have to come to a screeching halt. Anyway, right over here in this way, there's a big off-road shortcut to the left of that spot. There's a couple of hidden things that you can actually go on the railroad tracks, and if you have a star on a certain lap and go into the tunnel, it'll actually count as the lap. There's so many cool things you could do in this level, seriously. So now that the Mushroom Cup is done, we're going to jump into the Flower Cup, home of Toad's Turnpike, Fraps Snowland, Choco Mountain, and Mario Raceway. These are very iconic levels. Even everyone that has played Mario Kart 64, they remember Toad's Turnpike for sure. It's one of the most realistic levels because you're going to jump in onto oncoming traffic and you can potentially get hit by other cars. It's so fascinating. Anyway, let's jump into Toad's Turnpike and show you what's going on in the Flower Cup. We're on the road with Toad's Turnpike. As you can see over here, there are literal trucks and cars and tankers and school buses pretty much taking up the entire lanes right over this way. So just be very careful as you're navigating this entire map. If you take a look at the map size, it's literally just a figure 8. So, I don't really see any off-ramps either. So I'm just really begging the question of who's driving these cars? Why are they driving them in an infinite loop forever? Where do they have to go? Where'd they come from? Anyway, so if you take a look over here at Toad's Turnpike, this is the part of the map where it gets a little tight. You've got to thread the needle pretty well and make sure that you don't get hit by any of these cars. If you get hit by one, you're going to get blown into the air and then essentially get hit by another car that's coming your way. They're not going to lane change around you or anything like that. So just be careful. And in case you have mirror mode, Matt, mirror mode, all the cars are going to be coming directly at you in an opposite fashion. And welcome to the obligatory snow level in the game. This is Fraps Snowland. This one's really fun because there's a lot of fun little trees, there's snowmen, a giant snow Yoshi over there in the corner, and you'll be able to see a lot of different textures here too. You'll notice the snow falling in the air, you'll also see that there's like a river that I'm going to jump over right now, and there's a giant Mario snowman. So here's a part where you got to thread the needle, make sure that you watch out for those snowmen over there, because if you touch any of those, they will 100% blow you up into the air. Now here's a pretty cool corridor. You could throw some shells against the walls against your opponents and then that could ricochet and potentially hit them forward. But yeah, ultimately this is the final turn right over here over the river. And there we have it, we're done. Our next level is Choco Mountain. Is this chocolate? Is it dirt? I don't know, but I really like this level simply because of I like the fog. You can see like the fog just kind of revealing everything over there. You can also see the mountain with the 2 eyes, it looks like right over there. You're going into the mouth. And there's actually a couple really fun shortcuts that you can do over here. One of the things that's really iconic about Choco Mountain is the fact that you can get smushed by falling rocks. If you're not paying attention over here, all these rocks that are coming down, if you get hit by any of those, you will literally get smushed, flattened in mid-air, and that'll take away like at least 5 seconds of your entire lap right that way. Anyway, the final jumps are right over this way. Just be careful, align yourself up, do a little boings, and you're all set and ready to go. And welcome to the final level in the Flower Cup, none other than Mario Raceway. This one is so fun, simply because there's a lot of grass, and then there's a lot of different winding turns that you could practice your power slides on, or your mini turbos right over here. You'll also see some piranhas that make a little comeback over this way. That's super fun. Just make sure you don't touch any of them. There's a rotating Mario sign over that way. Super cool. You could take a little shortcut right over that way if you want to. Yeah, and then a giant green pipe to finish off the level. There are a few jump cuts that you can do in this with mushrooms, so I'll have to show you another time. All right, that was the entire Flower Cup in the books. Let's jump into one of my personal favorite cups, the Star Cup. My favorite levels in this one are Royal Raceway and Wario Stadium. Wario Stadium simply because there's so many fun jumps and everything like that. And honestly, this one just rounds out the game. Seriously, my favorite. Anyway, let's jump into it. Wario Stadium is going to be a fun one. I'll show you guys a couple fun tricks along the way. And we'll go through Sherbet Land, Royal Raceway, and Bowser's Castle. Alright, here we go, Wario Stadium, one of the most iconic levels in the Star Cup, simply because of all the different jumps, all the different crazy shortcuts you can take if you play this game very well, and you know exactly where to go. Man, right off the bat, you saw those 4 little humps at the very beginning? Yeah, you can use those humps in order to jump off a big section of track. So I'll show that at the very end of the lap over here. But ultimately with this level, it's a lot of winding turns, a lot of jumps over here. Yeah, watch out because you might get hit that way. But ultimately, what you want to do is you want to master any kind of jumps, especially if you're playing with shortcuts, right? Because some of your buddies will be like, all right, we're going to do the game, no shortcuts, just like really power sliding and going through. But then some of your friends are like, man, do any kind of shortcut you want. Come right over here to this. And then do a shortcut right here if you are good. Wow, I wanted to show that off. With the lighter characters, you can jump over that, and essentially what you can do is land right before the finish line and cut off literally 90% of this track here. Oh man, it's too good. If I was playing with Toad, I would have 100% made that. Likewise, right over here in this section, you can jump that fence, as I did. That was actually pretty cool. I jumped the fence and cut off a majority of the map. Yes. Oh, it's so good. I wasn't expecting to do that with Mario. But anyway, another shortcut is going to be right over here. As you can kind of see, you got to turn right into that as best as you can. And you can get it. Yeah, just like that. Done. And you can see that we're cutting off a major sections of track. Yes. Yes. Actually, yes. I did. Yes. Oh, that feels so good. Oh my gosh. All right. That's Wario Stadium. I just showed you guys a lap that was less than 10 seconds long. We did the jump right over the wall, and then we jumped it again without the use of any mushrooms. Oh my gosh. Anyway, this is the reason why Wario Stadium is one of the best levels, and it'll go down in history of Mario Kart. Here we are in the second frozen level of the game. This is none other than Sherbet Land. You'll see that this level is adorned with little cute baby penguins that are sliding around, but be very careful because not only do those penguins hit you, but they will spin you out if you're going slow enough. Right over this way, you'll see that you can easily fall off into the frigid waters too on the left-hand side over there. Watch out for these twins. Wow, yikes, man. Anyway, as we're jumping inside this cave over this way, we'll see all these penguins pretty much moving around in a circle. So just be very careful as you're going through and navigating there, because if you touch them, you will spin out if you're not going fast enough. Anyway, right over here is going to be another couple penguins along the way. You can hop a couple little corners there to shave off, and you are all set with Sherbet Land. Alright, this is one of my favorite levels, Royal Raceway. It is based off of Princess Peach's castle. Now, I would really want to do the entire first lap of this just to show you how cool this level is. But at the same time, I do want to go exploring, so if you guys are down for it, I'll do some exploring after the first lap is done. Anyway, you can see over here that it's a basic track with asphalt and some grass that you don't want to touch. And then, of course, you do have the very, very scary piranha plants on the sides over there. So just watch out for them. This is the coolest part. You're going to be standing right over this way, and you're going to end up launching yourself on the biggest ramp in the entire game. How cool is that? Boom! We're going to jump straight through and make our way. And if you saw over there, Princess Peach's castle is an actual thing. You can go over there and kind of explore it too, based off of the Princess Peach's castle in Mario 64, which is the same generation as this game over here. So anyway, pretty weak first lap, but what I really want to do is I want to showcase Princess Peach's castle. So let's show you guys exactly what that looks like. Okay, here we are, making our way over to Princess Peach's castle. Now you can see over here that this entire area is literally made just like it was in Mario 64. It's a little bit smaller to scale, but still really cool because this is the generation. The first game for Nintendo 64 was Mario 64, and the fact that we're out here playing in the exact courtyard is really fun. They didn't have to go through and program this at all, right? I wish there was a way that you can get on top of Princess Peach's castle and maybe see like Yoshi or something like that from Mario 64. But you can see over here that it's modeled pretty fairly well compared to what it was in the main game. You can even come over here to the door and start, you know, just pounding on it like, yo, let me in, let me go collect 120 stars. Anyway, so this was one of my favorite things to do, is just going through over here and just kind of peeking around the corner. I think I can kind of like manipulate the camera a little bit to show you that there's really nothing else modeled over there. This is exactly what the modeling looks like. So you can't really do anything with it. But I think that it's really fun to see that this was modeled over here. And you just kind of mess around and say, wow, remember this from Mario 64? I wonder if there's anything up there. Anyway, super fun little Easter egg that you can explore around. And now here is our last level of the Star Cup, none other than Bowser's Castle. Bowser's Castle is actually really cool. There's a lot of fun textures and everything like that. Especially this Bowser over here that's breathing fire. The fire doesn't affect you in the game, but these thwomps, or actually these womps, I'm sorry, they're womps. Yeah, these womps absolutely do affect you. If you're underneath them when they pound down, you can indeed get smushed by them, so you don't want that to happen. And if you're going slow enough and you run into them, you can actually spin out. So just be very careful about that. Anyway, what's cool about Bowser's Castle is that you can see all the different artwork right over here. You can see some Bowser over there. We've got a little fun courtyard over here with some different plants. And then right over in this spot, whoa, whoa, watch out, don't fall into the lava, is even more castle track. It just looks really fun. It's very well made. So we're going to be jumping down this way and, of course, jumping right around the corner here in order to make it towards the very end. Congrats. So that was the entire Star Cup. Really awesome levels. Now we're going to jump into the Special Cup, which showcases DK Jungle Parkway, Yoshi Valley, Banshee Boardwalk, and, of course, every Mario Kart has to have one, Rainbow Road. Ironically enough, this one is one of my favorites. I say that about every track. Am I biased here that I grew up with this game? I don't know, maybe. Anyway, let's jump into the Special Cup and see exactly what's going on. Our first level in the Special Cup is none other than DK's Jungle Parkway. He's got an entire jungle, and as you guys can see over here, there's a giant Mario yacht, there's all sorts of coconut trees, and there's going to be a gigantic ramp right over here, which is what I'm most excited for, too. You can hang a hard left and cut off even more of the track if you do that correctly, so really fun. Now, one of the things, too, about this level that's pretty unique, and it's not anywhere else in the game, is if you're in the grass, you'll notice that you'll get hit by coconuts. So it appears that maybe some wildlife is around the area and they're throwing coconuts at you? I don't know, maybe that's the DK crew? I couldn't even tell you. Anyway, right over here on this side is going to be the waterfall. You'll see a nice bridge. You can put some bananas on there and end up getting the computer opponents. And then we end up in the cave right before the end. You take a couple shortcuts right over there, cut off a little bit, and you were all set with DK's Jungle Parkway. Welcome to Yoshi Valley. This level is quite confusing. If you take a look at the mini-map over here, there's a lot of winding paths. And I remember as a kid, I had a hard time figuring out which path was the fastest. So I would always go this way. I couldn't tell you if it was fastest, but I know for a fact that it was a lot easier for me to just kind of time trial and make my way through. So really, really fun doing that. You can see over here that there's going to be a pretty narrow pathway over this way. If you'll notice that there aren't railings on 100% of the track, so if you do fall off, it is a long way down. And don't you dare even think about touching that egg over that way. That egg will smush you into a flattened pancake. So be very careful as you're going that way. The finish line is right over here this way. You can take a shortcut if you wanted to, but other than that, good luck navigating the maze. Banshee Boardwalk. Of course, we gotta bring in the ghost tracks this way. Now, this is inevitably one of the harder courses because there's no shortcuts in the level, and there are some winding paths that you can easily fall into the water of the boardwalk. We see a gigantic Cheep Cheep over here. It doesn't really do anything. It's just for aesthetics. And these ghosts are here for aesthetics too. So just be very careful about this spot right over that way, because that, if you put some bananas over there, you will easily get some people to fall inside the water. This one's going to be the actual Boo house this way. Kind of interesting because usually bats come out in those little sections, but since we're playing in time trials, the bats don't show up. That's alright. Anyway, do some mini turbos right around this corner over here, and you are all set and ready to go for Banshee Boardwalk. Was that scary? Not so much. It's alright. And here we go. This is the final level, Rainbow Road. in Mario Kart 64. I'm going to show you the Ultra Cut right off the bat just by doing this. On my first try, baby. Watch. Boom! Look at that! Did you see how much track I cut off? That, indeed, was the most iconic shortcut in all of Mario Kart history. If you have Mario Kart 64, you have to ask yourself, have I ever done the Rainbow Road shortcut? Right? That's it. You mention that word. You put those 3 words to anyone that's played Mario Kart. Rainbow Road shortcut, and they're like, oh yeah, jumping off the side. Yeah, that was so cool. Anyway, that's honestly one of my favorite things about this track. Other than that, it's probably the longest track in Mario Kart history. I remember when it was remade in Mario Kart 8, they shortened it. They shortened it very, very much so. Because with this, not only do you have these winding paths with mini turbos that you do like every other 2 seconds, but that's really it. It's a very, very boring track. The only thing that breathes life into this track is the concept of doing that shortcut 3 laps in a row. Oh my gosh, you are really awesome if you're able to do that. So anyway, we're coming up to the end point right over this way. There's the end. What I want to do right now is I want to do a full lap for you guys because we did say we're going to do 1 lap in every single one of these tracks. So anyway, this one was really fun. When I was a kid, I used to just jump like this and like pretend I would fly. Whee! Right? Like, why not? So remember, at the very beginning, you could take a hard turn to the left, jump off, and get that. But what's really fun about this is actually just taking a look at all these different crazy pictures. You have Mario, Peach, Luigi. Everyone's kind of represented in these neon lights. So I think that's also really, really fun. So watch out for the chain chomp. If you do end up hitting the chain chomp, then you'll essentially fly into the air like that. There's a mushroom for Toad. Kind of fun. There's the star. Wow, for Rainbow Road. Look at that. There's a Boo over that way. I do indeed love these neon lights over here. And I did want to show you guys what the chain chomp looked like too. That was really fun. So, man, seriously, I have so many memories of this. When I used to play Mario Kart 64 competitively, we would all have to agree whether or not we're going to allow the Rainbow Road shortcut. And me, I was all like, dude, I'm good at the shortcut. Like, I could do it on my first try, man. Please allow it. And then everyone else votes against it. So I'm like, oh, come on. You're only voting against it because you can't do it, man. Get on my Mario Kart level. No, I'm just messing around. But yeah, that's seriously what happened in certain times for Mario Kart 64 tournaments that I've participated in. It's been a fun time, honestly. But just going through and trying to do like a time trial on this, I mean, Mario Kart 64 is filled with so many different Lakitu skips, where if you jump off in a certain part of a level, Lakitu will respawn you behind the finish line. I didn't really highlight any of those inside this retrospective. Maybe if you guys want, I could do something like that in the future. But anyway, going through one of these laps and showing some very basic shortcuts was really what I wanted to set out to do. And you know what? I think we did it because we just finished Rainbow Road. And there you have it, all of the tracks in Mario Kart 64. Which one was your favorite? I cannot wait to hear from you. And if you guys have any other fun memories of playing this game, maybe when you were younger, or maybe this game came out way before you were born, either way, it's a very awesome relic, and if you guys have access to a Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo Switch Online service, you can absolutely play this right now, today. You don't have to dig up an old cartridge and an old N64 in order to do so. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the retrospective. Part 3 is coming out very, very soon. We're going to deep dive into the next Mario Kart game, which is none other than Mario Kart Super Circuit on a handheld system. That's going to be super fun, and I cannot wait to show you what that game's all about. Anyway, you guys are awesome. Keep it locked here for even more Mario Kart content, and we'll see you guys on part 3. Take care.
Only on Happy Kids Free Fun Learn.